Hello and welcome. I'm Carol DeChaine, your intuitive spiritual guide for practical matters. This month I've been talking about how to be your own best friend. And I started with treat yourself right in word, thought, and deed. And last week I talked about accepting compliments and if you can do it or not. So this week I'm talking about not letting others sway your opinion of yourself. When people have judgments of you or expectations and you don't fulfill them for them, you may feel like you're less than a good person or you're a failure. You may have expectations of yourself and judge yourself as well and feel like a failure. Feel like you aren't good enough or smart enough or attractive enough or whatever enough. When you're being your own best friend, take that step back. Look at what you would feel like if someone was saying these things about your best friend, especially if you're close to your best friend. What would you say or do? Would you say, hey, stop that? Then, hey, stop that. So if you're looking at what others are saying to you, those judgments they're making on you, are they saying, hey, you didn't do that well enough? You couldn't come up to my expectations. You didn't do enough. You aren't enough. How does that make you feel? Do you then tell yourself, oh, I must not be good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't do what they want me to do. I'm not enough. Or do you say, hey, these peer pressures, what am I doing? The people, the way that they're talking to you, they're trying to sway you into doing things that you may or may not want to do. What would you say to your best friend if you heard these people talking to your best friend? If you know you want to stay on a specific path or do a specific thing, and you saw your best friend and they were doing that, that was what they wanted to do. And you heard people and what they were judging them, telling them, oh, you can't do that. You can't. Oh my God, what's going on? You need to be true to yourself while all of these judgments and expectations are going on. Look at what people are saying. Maybe there's something to learn from it, or maybe it's what you need to learn is that you don't need to pay attention to them. Some people will always be negative. Some people will always try and put you down, probably because they don't feel like they're enough, and that's how they make themselves feel bigger or better. Some people, including parents who have expectations like, oh, you need to be a doctor because everybody in the family is a doctor or a lawyer or a cop or whatever it may be. And you don't want to do that. You're not living up to their expectations. Maybe your joy is being in the artistic world, doing something that way, doing something totally different than whatever the rest of the people are doing. Or maybe everybody is an artist and you want to be a cop and they're going, you're nuts. What are you doing? You want to be in the army. You want to do something different. And they're going, what? You're the black sheep because you want to do something different. Not because you're in trouble, just because you don't fit in with the rest of the group. These are things you need to be true to yourself with. Don't let others sway you. And this is not what you want for yourself. Allow yourself to not beat yourself up, to be able to speak your truth. And that's next week. Speak your truth. And that's the only way you can be your own best friend. When you let other people sway you, when you allow people to impart their judgments and their expectations, and they do that peer pressure on you, you're going to be listening and trying to decide if it's worth it to do what you want to do, to say what you want to say, or even more importantly, be who you want to be. And maybe you let them talk you out of it, or maybe you let them talk you into doing what they think. And in school, we're always talking about drugs as being peer pressure, drinking, sex too soon, all those things. That's peer pressure to do something that you don't want to do. But you can also have family doing that to you, neighbors. I mean, you want to live up to what other people think when that's not what you're maybe interested in doing at all. Don't let them sway you from being who and what you want to be. When you're being your own best friend, if you see that happening to your best friend, what would you say to them? Would you say, hey, what are you doing? Stop listening to them. What do you want to do? Why are you listening to them? If you can, and I've said this so far every single time all month, stop. Take that step back and listen to what those people are saying to you and see how you feel about it. If you feel less than because people are putting things on you, they're expecting things you don't want to, either you can't because it isn't in you or you don't want to give them, then by all means, allow yourself to adjust, shift, decide what you want. Maybe you need to leave the situation you're in order to be your own best friend, in order to not let others sway you because these are the wrong friends for you. They're the people that you don't want to be around. Or maybe you need to have a little chat with the people, especially if it's your parents or your family where they say you need to be, we expect you to be a lawyer. And you're going, I hate lawyers. I mean, I love you guys, but I don't want to be a lawyer. Law is boring. It's not for me. I don't care what kind of law you throw at me. I don't want to do it. And you have to tell them, this is what I want instead. Or I need a year. Leave me alone. Let me figure out what I want. If you don't know, you need to do that for yourself. And maybe you come into the fold and you say, I've tried other things and this is for me. Or maybe you say, I would not do that ever. Not my thing. I have no interest whatsoever. I don't care if every single person in the family going back for generations has done this thing. It isn't for me. Get over it. You can't necessarily talk to them that way. But you need to decide how you can approach people and say, please don't be disappointed in me. I'm being true to me. I want to find my joy in what I want to do. And it isn't doing what you're pushing me towards. It isn't maybe this relationship you want me to have with the neighborhood kid or whatever. It's not this kind of a job. It's not these things that you have set out for me. These things aren't my things. I'm sorry that you can't do it. It's like stage mothers saying, pushing their child to perform when that's what they always wanted to do. That's why they're called stage mothers. And they wanted to do it. And so they preen, and it's like they're going, yes, because they're living through their child. But their child may not want that. These are things you need to be aware of. To be your own best friend, you need to be able to set yourself up and go, what do I want? Let me be true to myself. Don't let these other people sway you. Don't let the peer pressure or the judgments that they think you should do something or the expectations they have for you sway you from what you truly want. You know you wouldn't do that for your best friend. You'd tell them and you'd say something and say, hey, what do you want? Well, then do it. I'll support you. So support yourself in what you want. Support yourself. And if you need to, and you have no one around you to support you, talk to a therapist. Talk to a life coach who will help you find A, B, C, D, what you need to do to get where you want to go, and what you need to say, and how you maybe want to respond to people. Will help you understand what you want to do now. Make it clear. Make a plan. We don't necessarily go back and dig up old things and mine through the past in order to truly get that depth of understanding. Although I have had people do that, it wasn't what I started out to do. They had a fairly quick understanding. If you want to do that, then you need to go to a therapist. If there's a lot of abuse, if there's a lot of stuff you need to really work through, then they're trained for that sort of thing. But if you just need to let these people's judgments go, their expectations, and say, I don't have those things for me. That's not what I want. It's your problem. It's not me. That's not who I am. I need to be true to myself and what I want. If you can do that, then you are being your own best friend. Thank you for joining me here today. We have one more installment in how to be your own best friend. And if you'd like to know when that comes out, by all means, subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell notification so you know the next time that a video is posted. And if you'd like to have longer audio versions of podcasts, my podcast is called Connect to Joy, as well as my website, which is connect, the number 2, joy.com. You'll find information, not only the podcast that is showing up there, but also you'll have all the old radio shows I've done. You'll have life coaching information, Marconics multidimensional energy information, and energy space clearing information. And you can also contact me by email through the website if you would like to have more information on intuitive readings. Until next week, please know that you deserve to be your own best friend. You are worthy of it. You can have what you need, and you also can have that joy that you deserve.